Warning: 3 vegetables that cause numbness and pain in your feet. Have you ever felt that strange tingling feeling in your feet? Or maybe some unexplained pain that seems to come out of nowhere and keeps coming back? What if I told you that the cause might be closer than you think, right inside your plate? Many times we blame age, stress, or even the wrong shoes. But there's a silent factor that might be damaging your nerves without you noticing: your diet. Certain foods consumed regularly create an inflammatory environment in the body. They directly affect the nerves, cause poor circulation, and little by little, leave clear signs in the feet. The discomfort starts subtle but can turn into something much more serious. Before revealing the 3 vegetables that, surprisingly, are behind many cases of pain and numbness in the extremities, you'll get to know other foods, some extremely common, that also play a crucial role in this problem. You'll be surprised by what might be sabotaging your health every day. And the most important thing, at the end of this video, the most dangerous vegetable of all will be revealed. Stay alert. What you're eating might be speaking louder than you imagine. Number 15. Refined sugar. Have you ever stopped to think about the impact that refined sugar can have beyond weight gain? This common ingredient, present in sweets, sodas, and even innocent foods like ready-made sauces, has a direct effect on the nervous system. When consumed excessively, it rapidly raises blood glucose levels, which overloads the peripheral nerves. Over time, this overload causes damage that manifests as tingling, numbness, and even intense pain in the feet and hands. This condition, known as diabetic neuropathy, is more common than you think. The big danger of refined sugar lies in the silent way it affects the body. At first, symptoms might seem mild, a sensation of pins and needles in the toes or temporary numbness. But these signs are important warnings. Ignoring them can lead to progressive worsening, where nerves deteriorate to the point of affecting balance and mobility. And all this can start with that sweetened coffee or the jelly toast at breakfast. The human body wasn't made to handle such high glucose loads daily. In people with type 2 diabetes, the risk is even greater. Refined sugar worsens insulin resistance, making glucose control harder. This imbalance creates a toxic environment for the nerves, causing inflammation and impairing blood circulation. The result is reduced nutrition for nerve tissues, which accelerates their degeneration. That's why reducing sugar consumption isn't just an aesthetic matter. It's an essential preventive measure to avoid pain and functional limitations. Did you know that even boxed juices and fit yogurts can contain large amounts of hidden sugar? It's exactly this unnoticed consumption that makes refined sugar so dangerous. When you add these small excesses throughout the day, the result is a constant bombardment on the nervous system. The feet, being the farthest extremities from the heart, suffer first. This happens because circulation to these areas is already limited, and the nerves there are more vulnerable. Fortunately, small changes in diet can cause big transformations. Replacing sugary foods with fresh fruits, using natural sweeteners like stevia, and reading product labels are simple actions that help protect the nerves. Additionally, keeping blood glucose levels stable contributes to better oxygenation and nutrition of the tissues. This way, it's possible to drastically reduce the risk of developing symptoms like burning and foot pain. The secret lies in consistency and attention to what you consume daily. Taking care of your feet starts with what you put on your plate. Preventing pain and numbness isn't just about medication or expensive therapies, but mainly about what you choose to eat. Avoiding refined sugar is one of the most important choices you can make for your nerve health. And if you already feel some discomfort, starting this change now can mean better quality of life in the future. Number 14. Fried foods and fast food. Just look around to notice. Fried foods and fast foods are everywhere, almost unavoidable at parties, restaurants, and even at home. The problem is that these foods, besides being highly caloric, are loaded with trans fats and reused oils, substances that directly affect the circulatory system. This poor circulation is one of the most common causes of pain and numbness in the feet, since the nerves end up poorly oxygenated. Without good blood flow, the body's extremities begin to show signs of distress. These bad fats inflame the whole body, but the impact is especially strong on nerve endings. This translates into symptoms like burning, tingling sensations, and even loss of sensitivity in the feet and hands. For those who already have diabetes or high cholesterol, regular fried food consumption can speed up the appearance of severe kidney diseases. Furthermore, these foods impair the absorption of essential nutrients that protect the nerves. Another worrying aspect is that fast food rarely comes alone. It is usually accompanied by sugary sodas and industrialized desserts, creating a real inflammatory storm in the body. The excess salt and chemical preservatives in these foods further worsen fluid retention and compromise joint health. And since the feet support the entire body weight, any inflammation in this region can become extremely painful. It's common to think that an occasional hamburger or fried pastry won't harm you, but the cumulative effect of these foods is the real villain. Even small quantities consumed frequently are enough to cause problems. And worse, many people only notice the impact once symptoms become chronic. Therefore, prevention needs to start even before discomfort appears. Swapping fried foods for grilled or baked options can be a great start. Additionally, including more natural and anti-inflammatory foods in the diet helps restore nerve health and improve circulation. The good news is the body responds well to positive changes. With a little discipline, it's possible to reverse early symptoms and regain quality of life. But don't be fooled, dangerous foods don't end here. Soon, we will reveal the vegetables that also cause nerve damage, and the worst one is saved for the last chapter. Number 13. Industrialized pizza. Pizza, especially the industrialized version, seems like a harmless food but can cause major harm to your nerve health. Loaded with refined flour, excess sodium, and chemical preservatives, it acts directly on the peripheral nerves. These ingredients inflame tissues, cause fluid retention, and impair circulation, a dangerous combo for those who already feel foot pain. Even non-diabetics can develop neuropathy over time if consumption is constant. The excess sodium in these pizzas interferes with blood pressure and contributes to swelling in the feet, increasing the sensation of pain and fatigue. Additionally, refined dough causes glycemic spikes, which further harm the nerves. Processed cheese and cured meats used as toppings add even more bad fats and nitrites to the meal, elements known to be harmful to the nervous system. All this creates a chronic inflammatory environment in the body. Another point worth highlighting is the frequent consumption of this type of food at night. Eating industrialized pizza for dinner raises glucose levels during sleep, a crucial moment for tissue regeneration. This impairs rest and worsens nighttime numbness in the feet. The body cannot properly recover, and the problem accumulates night after night. In the long term, constant inflammation leads to loss of sensitivity in the extremities. Although there are healthier pizza versions made with whole wheat dough and fresh ingredients, these are still not accessible to many people. Therefore, it is essential to create awareness about what is being consumed. Homemade pizza with fresh vegetables and less salt can be a viable and much less harmful alternative. The secret is moderation and ingredient choice. Number 12. Processed meats. Ham, salami, sausage. These foods are part of many people's routines but hide serious risks for nerve health. Processed meats are loaded with preservatives like nitrites and nitrates, which are highly inflammatory. When consumed frequently, these substances directly affect the integrity of peripheral nerves. The result? Numbness, tingling, and even painful cramps in the feet and hands, typical symptoms of early-stage neuropathy. Besides that, processed meats are rich in sodium and saturated fats, which contribute to fluid retention and impair blood circulation. This causes the body's extremities to receive less oxygen and nutrients, creating a favorable environment for neurological symptoms. Especially those with a genetic predisposition to circulatory problems should avoid these foods completely. Chronic consumption of processed meats also affects the liver, impairing the body's detoxification. Another worrying point is the presence of chemical additives and artificial dyes, which generate silent inflammation in the body. These inflammations affect the most sensitive tissues, such as peripheral nerves, and can lead to more severe conditions if not controlled in time. Symptoms start discreetly, with a feeling of heaviness or fatigue in the feet, but quickly evolve if the diet is not corrected. It's a dangerous spiral that many only realize when discomfort is already established. It is also important to consider that these foods have low nutritional value. They do not provide B vitamins, magnesium, or antioxidants, essential nutrients for nerve protection and regeneration. Instead, they overload the body with substances that prevent its recovery. Swapping processed meats for natural options like eggs, cooked chicken, or grains can bring visible improvement in pain and numbness symptoms. Avoiding processed meats is one of the most effective measures to preserve the health of feet and hands. By eliminating these toxins from the diet, you make room for nerves to recover and circulation to improve. And attention, dangerous foods are not over yet. In the final chapters, we will talk about vegetables that cause tingling and pain, and the last one is, without a doubt, the most dangerous of all. Number 11. Excess salt. Salt is a basic seasoning, but consuming it excessively can turn into one of the biggest enemies of circulatory and nerve health. When you overdo salt, your body retains fluids, which makes circulation difficult, especially in the extremities. This retention causes swelling, a feeling of heaviness in the legs, and foot pain. Over time, poor circulation leads to reduced oxygen and nutrient supply to the nerves, which causes tingling and numbness. The problem is that we're not just talking about the salt you add to your food. Most of the excessive intake comes from processed foods, ready-made sauces, snacks, processed meats, and even bread. These products are loaded with sodium, and frequent consumption generates a chronic inflammatory state in the body. This speeds up the aging of peripheral nerves, making them more susceptible to damage. It's a slow but constant process that can be avoided with more conscious food choices. Excess salt is also linked to increased blood pressure, which worsens poor circulation. In predisposed people, this can trigger more serious problems like neuropathies and even foot ulcers. The combination of poor oxygenation, fluid buildup, and inflammation makes the internal environment hostile for the nerves. The pain that starts as a simple burning can evolve into loss of sensitivity or difficulty walking. The good news is that the palate adapts quickly. Reducing salt and using natural seasonings like herbs, garlic, turmeric, and lemon can restore the body's balance without compromising flavor. Moreover, a low-sodium diet helps the body eliminate retained fluids and improve circulation, relieving foot pain and cramps. This translates into more energy, less fatigue, and greater daily willingness. Taking care of the amount of salt you consume is taking care of the health of your feet, your heart, and your brain. It's a simple step, but with deep effects. And there's more ahead. In the next chapters, we will reveal the vegetables behind many cases of pain and numbness. Stay until the end to discover the last one, which is, hands down, the most harmful of all. Number 10. Industrialized cakes and sweets. Who can resist a slice of cake or a sweet treat in the afternoon? Although they seem harmless, these foods can be true villains for nerve health. Industrialized cakes and sweets are rich in refined sugar, white flour, and hydrogenated fats, a perfect combination to generate silent inflammations. When consumed frequently, these ingredients overload the body and cause damage to nerve endings, especially in the feet and hands. Moreover, these foods cause blood sugar spikes followed by sharp drops. This glycemic roller coaster weakens peripheral nerves and compromises their regeneration capacity. Over time, symptoms like numbness, tingling, burning, and pain in the extremities arise. Those already prone to diabetes or circulatory problems are even more vulnerable to the effects of these highly processed products. Another factor that worsens the situation is the presence of chemical additives, artificial dyes, and preservatives. These substances not only affect digestion and metabolism, but also poison the nervous system. Excess glucose combined with inflammation prevents nerves from receiving essential nutrients for their health. When this happens chronically, recovery becomes increasingly difficult, even with treatment. Industrialized sweets and cakes also promote the accumulation of visceral fat and raise bad cholesterol, which worsens circulation. Reduced blood flow to the feet, for example, means less oxygen supply and more pain when walking. These symptoms directly interfere with quality of life and, in many cases, limit simple daily activities like walking or climbing stairs. Number 9. Sodas. Sodas, especially colas, are among the worst enemies of nerve and foot health. Besides their very high sugar content, these drinks contain phosphoric acid, which directly interferes with calcium absorption and weakens bones. This compromises bone structure and increases sensitivity in the extremities. The combination of bone density loss and inflammation creates an ideal environment for pain, tingling, and even constant foot cramps. Another aggravating factor of sodas is the metabolic impact. The sugar present in these drinks causes repeated blood sugar spikes throughout the day, contributing to the degeneration of nerve fibers. This is even more worrying for those with diabetes or prediabetes, as it accelerates the progression of diabetic neuropathy. The sensation of pins and needles in the feet may be the first visible symptom of this silent nerve destruction process. Additionally, many sodas contain excessive caffeine, which causes vasoconstriction, that is, the narrowing of blood vessels. This effect reduces circulation in the extremities and worsens symptoms of numbness and pain. For the body, it's as if the feet were constantly lacking blood and nutrients, which harms cell regeneration. And when this regeneration fails, the body accumulates inflammation and oxidative stress. In the long term, continuous soda consumption is also linked to bone demineralization, an important factor for increasing foot pain. Weak bones and inflamed nerves form a dangerous combination, especially in people over 50. Replacing sodas with lemon water, natural teas, or sugar-free juices is a simple change that brings real benefits to the body. And stay alert. Although sodas are very harmful, they are not alone. Some vegetables that seem harmless are also behind symptoms like numbness, tingling, and foot pain. These vegetables will be revealed in the last chapters, with the last one being, without a doubt, the most dangerous of all. Don't miss it. Number 8. Excessive alcohol. Drinking moderately can be part of social life, but excessive alcohol has devastating effects on the nervous system. Chronic alcohol consumption is directly related to alcoholic neuropathy, a condition characterized by burning, numbness, and loss of sensation in the extremities. The feet, being far from the circulation center, are the first to show symptoms. Excess alcohol interferes with the absorption of essential vitamins, especially B-complex vitamins like B1, thiamine, B6, and B12. These vitamins are fundamental for nerve maintenance and regeneration. Without them, the body enters a state of deficiency, and nerves begin to deteriorate. This leads to intense pain, loss of coordination, and motor difficulties. In many cases, symptoms are irreversible if not treated in time. Moreover, alcohol promotes systemic inflammation and dehydration. Inflammation worsens nerve degeneration, while dehydration impairs circulation and tissue oxygenation. The combination of these effects harms nerve and vascular function, worsening the overall condition of those already suffering from foot pain. Alcohol also interferes with sleep and nighttime recovery, further aggravating symptoms. Another worrying factor is that many people do not realize the relationship between alcohol and foot pain. The tingling or burning sensation after a night of drinking may seem temporary, but becomes frequent over time. Continuous use of alcoholic beverages, even in small amounts, can contribute to a long-term inflammatory process. Reducing alcohol or eliminating it completely from your routine can significantly improve nerve health and quality of life. This is an essential step for those already experiencing neuropathy symptoms. But don't think alcohol is the only culprit. There are other less obvious foods and even some vegetables that contribute to this problem. These will be detailed soon. Keep watching. Number 7. Excessive caffeine. Caffeine is present in coffee, teas, sodas, and even chocolates. When consumed in moderate doses, it can offer benefits like increased energy and concentration. However, in excess, it becomes a risk factor for the circulatory system. Caffeine causes vasoconstriction, meaning it contracts blood vessels, reducing blood flow to the extremities. This means less oxygen and nutrients reaching the nerves in the feet. This reduced flow can result in symptoms like numbness, cold sensations, and tingling, especially in those who already have circulation problems. In people predisposed to diseases like hypertension or diabetes, excessive caffeine increases the risks. The blood, which should nourish the nerves in the legs and feet, does not circulate efficiently, creating fertile ground for chronic pain. Another problem with excessive caffeine is that it interferes with sleep quality. Poor sleep directly affects cellular repair processes, especially those of peripheral nerves. When the body cannot rest properly, it does not regenerate, and symptoms like burning or electric shocks in the feet become more frequent. This constant interference also raises cortisol levels, a hormone that worsens inflammation. Chronic caffeine consumption, especially in combination with other stimulants or processed products, worsens the scenario even further. Often, people who consume a lot of caffeine also turn to sugary foods to maintain energy, creating a vicious cycle. This lifestyle harms nerve health on various levels and requires extra attention. To relieve symptoms, it's essential to reduce daily caffeine intake and observe how the body reacts. Small substitutions like replacing afternoon coffee with a calming tea already make a difference. And remember, in the last chapters we will reveal the vegetables that also cause tingling and foot pain, and the last one on the list is the most dangerous of all. Stay alert so you're not surprised by something that might be in your fridge right now. Number 6. Milk chocolate. Milk chocolate is a temptation for many, but its excessive consumption can represent a silent risk to the nerves. That's because besides refined sugar, it is rich in saturated fats and additives that inflame the body. When consumed regularly in large amounts, milk chocolate contributes to increased blood sugar and inflammatory processes that directly affect peripheral nerves. The result is symptoms like burning, numbness, and tingling, especially in the feet. Another problem is that milk chocolate usually contains condensed milk, glucose syrups, and other ingredients that worsen metabolic overload. These substances not only increase the risk of diabetes, but also affect circulation and the integrity of nerve endings. The sensation of pins and needles in the feet may intensify in people who habitually consume sweets regularly, especially at night when metabolism is slower. The caffeine present in chocolate also contributes to vasoconstriction, meaning that blood flow to the extremities is reduced. Less circulation means less cellular nutrition, and nerves begin to suffer from a lack of oxygen and vitamins. This combined effect of sugar, fat, and caffeine makes milk chocolate a harmful combination for foot health, even though it is such a popular food. The problem is many consider chocolate a form of emotional comfort, which makes control even harder. However, there are healthier alternatives like dark chocolate with high cocoa content, which has less sugar and more antioxidants. But even these versions should be consumed in moderation, especially by those already showing signs of peripheral neuropathy. Avoiding frequent milk chocolate consumption is more than a matter of weight or aesthetics. It's a preventive action against the progression of foot pain. And don't forget, in the last chapters, we will reveal vegetables also linked to the onset of numbness and pain in the extremities. The last one is, without a doubt, the most surprising and dangerous of all. Number 5. Processed cheeses. Processed cheeses are among the most inflammatory foods in the modern diet. Full of preservatives, artificial colors, and chemical additives, they directly contribute to nervous system inflammation. Additionally, they are rich in sodium and saturated fats, which impair circulation and increase the risk of vascular problems. When nerves don't receive adequate nutrition due to poor circulation, symptoms like pain and tingling in the feet start to appear. These cheeses usually go through industrial processes that eliminate some of their natural nutrients and add substances that extend their shelf life. Among these substances are phosphates and emulsifiers, which, in excess, interfere with calcium balance in the body. This affects not only bones but also nerve impulses, impairing communication between the brain and peripheral nerves. In the long term, this interference can cause painful neuropathies. Another aspect is the imbalance between calcium and magnesium levels caused by frequent consumption of ultra-processed dairy products. This imbalance directly affects muscle contraction and can lead to frequent episodes of cramps, numbness, and weakness in the feet. Furthermore, processed cheeses have a high inflammatory fat content, which contributes to the progressive deterioration of nerve fibers. For those suffering from foot pain, replacing these products with less processed cheeses, such as naturally aged ones, can make a big difference. Removing chemical additives and reducing sodium are essential steps to relieve pressure on the nerves. Also, opting for fermented plant-based alternatives can help in the recovery and maintenance of neurological health. Even though they seem harmless, processed cheeses are part of the group of foods that slowly damage the nerves. Avoiding them is an important measure in seeking symptom relief. But there is more to come. Vegetables you probably consider healthy might be harming your feet. And the most dangerous will be revealed in the final chapter. Stay tuned. Number 4. Excess red meat. Red meats, when consumed excessively, are directly linked to inflammatory processes in the body, and this includes inflammation of peripheral nerves. Frequent consumption of large amounts of beef or pork raises uric acid levels, a substance that accumulates in joints and tissues. This accumulation causes pain, swelling, and discomfort, especially in the feet, which are the extremities most affected by poor circulation. Another problem is that red meats, especially fatty ones, stimulate the production of inflammatory compounds in the body. These compounds hinder nerve cell regeneration and intensify pain in neuropathy cases. In those who already have chronic diseases like diabetes or hypertension, the effect of excessive meat consumption is even more harmful. Symptoms manifest as burning, loss of sensitivity, or constant sharp pains. Furthermore, excessive animal protein requires greater effort from the liver and kidneys to eliminate metabolic waste. This constant effort generates a state of systemic inflammation that contributes to nerve degeneration. When the excretory system is overloaded, the body cannot adequately filter toxins, and oxidative stress intensifies, harming the most delicate tissues like nerves. The key is balance. Consuming red meat occasionally, preferring lean cuts and healthy preparations, can be safe for many people. However, the habit of eating excessive meat every day can worsen muscle, joint, and neurological pains. Moderation, in this case, is a determining factor for maintaining nerves in good condition. And attention, we are getting close to the most surprising revelation of this video. Some vegetables, usually seen as harmless, can cause symptoms like tingling and foot pain. Two of them will still be revealed, and the last one is, without a doubt, the most harmful of all. You won't want to miss it. Number 3. Raw carrot in excess. Carrot is often seen as an ally of health, but when consumed raw in excess, it can bring unexpected effects to the nervous system. This happens because carrot contains substances that, in large quantities, interfere with the absorption of vitamin B6, an essential nutrient for proper nerve function. Without adequate levels of this vitamin, the body begins to show signs of neurological deficiency, such as numbness and tingling, especially in the feet. Another important point is that vitamin B6 is directly involved in neurotransmitter production. When this production is affected, nerves have difficulty sending signals correctly, which can result in sharp pains or shock-like sensations in the extremities. Excessive consumption of raw carrot can therefore contribute to this condition, especially when combined with a diet poor in other neuroprotective nutrients. Although it is an excellent source of fiber and antioxidants, raw carrot contains a type of insoluble fiber that, in excess, can hinder digestion and affect the absorption of minerals like magnesium and zinc. These minerals are also fundamental for nerve health, and their deficiency intensifies symptoms of peripheral neuropathy. The good intention of eating healthy can, in this case, bring unexpected side effects. Another factor is the moderate glycemic index of raw carrot, which can cause blood sugar spikes if consumed in large amounts by sensitive people, such as diabetics. These glycemic spikes directly affect peripheral nerves and can accelerate the deterioration of sensitivity in the feet. This makes moderation even more important. Therefore, carrot should not be eliminated from a diet, but its consumption should be balanced and preferably alternated with other sources of essential nutrients. And if you think this discovery was surprising, get ready. 2 vegetables remain, and the last one is the most dangerous of all. Is more present in your daily life than you imagine. Number 2. Corn, industrialized or genetically modified. Corn is another food many people don't imagine as a villain, but its industrialized or genetically modified version can greatly worsen foot pain symptoms. This is because processed corn, found in flours, snacks, and even breakfast cereals, has a high glycemic index. This means it quickly raises blood glucose, which over time damages peripheral nerves and worsens diabetic neuropathy. For people with diabetes, corn can be particularly harmful. When consumed frequently, it maintains high blood sugar, which prevents nerve regeneration and increases inflammation. Feet, being regions with less blood flow, suffer first. Tingling, stabbing pains, and even loss of touch sensitivity appear. And often the culprit is the most common snack: microwave popcorn, corn cakes, or processed breads. Another critical factor is the quality of corn used in the food industry. Much of it is genetically modified and grown with pesticides, which can bring additional inflammatory consequences to the body. These chemical compounds increase oxidative stress in the body, which directly attacks nerve endings. Even those who are not diabetic can develop neuropathy symptoms if consumption is continuous. Furthermore, processed corn tends to be poor in natural fibers and micronutrients. It provides empty calories and no nutritional support to protect the nervous system. And when combined with other foods rich in fat and sugar, its negative effects become even more intense. Over time, this accelerates nerve degeneration and harms motor and sensory functions. If you consume corn regularly, it is ideal to prefer organic and whole grain versions with moderation. This helps preserve the benefits of the food without exposing the body to the more inflammatory versions. And now, get ready. It's time to meet the most dangerous vegetable of all when it comes to foot pain. It seems harmless, but could be quietly affecting your nerves. Number 1. Cucumber, when consumed raw in excess. Cucumber, considered refreshing and light, might seem like the last food you would imagine on this list. However, when consumed raw in excess, it becomes the most dangerous vegetable for those suffering from numbness and pain in the feet. This is because raw cucumber, especially in large quantities, is difficult to digest for many people, causing mild intestinal inflammations that interfere with the absorption of essential nutrients for the nerves. The main consequence is poor absorption of vitamin B12 and magnesium, 2 essential nutrients for the integrity and functioning of peripheral nerves. Without them, nerve endings become vulnerable, causing tingling, cramps, numbness, and even episodes of sharp foot pain. Cucumber also contains substances called cucurbitacins, which in excess can irritate the digestive tract and further impair vitamin absorption. For those already prone to neurological problems, the effect can be even more pronounced. The slow digestion caused by raw cucumber interferes with the gut flora, harming the synthesis of B-complex vitamins, which depend on a healthy microbiota to be absorbed. This creates a cycle of nutritional deficiency, inflammation, and progressive nerve degeneration. Another problem is repeated consumption combined with other raw foods, like frequent salads. This can overload the digestive system, especially in more sensitive people, and intensify neuropathy symptoms. Although it seems like a healthy choice, unbalanced consumption of this vegetable can worsen unexplained foot pain. Of course, cucumber doesn't need to be completely eliminated from a diet, but its consumption should be balanced and preferably alternated with other foods that favor digestion and nutrient absorption. Among all the foods discussed in this video, raw cucumber in excess stands out as the most treacherous. It seems harmless, but could be the real culprit behind pains you couldn't explain until now. And if you want to keep receiving the best videos for your health, subscribe to the channel, because it exists for only one reason: to help you. In the video appearing now on your screen, I reveal the secret drink that cleans arteries and eliminates poor circulation. To check it out, just click on the screen. See you there.